Now this video is to address a check engine light that's flashing on a first generation Chevy Bolt. I'm James Noble. Let's get to it. Our check engine light is flashing. Something needs to be done immediately. Extreme misfire events can cause catalytic converter damage. The malfunction light will flash when the conditions for catalytic converter damage are present, such as p0300 through 304. I like to go ahead and run an auto scan of the complete system, and we'll see if there's anything involving the noise. Let's cut off that dinghy. Now we know we're seeing two, so let's look at them in our engine. And just, if you'll notice when you've got the engine running, if you feel a steady vibration, then most time it's one cylinder. Now we're going to go into trouble codes, and we're going to display the codes. p0300. So since we got a random misfire, we're going to dig a little deeper, and we'll go into, let's go into our engine live data, and let's go into our misfire. So we're going to check misfire, and this will have the engine running and what we're looking for. Cylinder current misfire counter, we'll highlight that. We want 1, 2, 3, and 4, of course. We'll narrow us down to which cylinder is actually missing. Now since this is a check engine light code, we're going to need our engine to be running. In order to do that, we'll have to pop our hood and that'll put us in service mode so we can check and see what the actual misfire is about. Well, it looks like it's cylinder number 2. That's where we're getting our misfire. So now instead of a random misfire, we know it's happening only on one cylinder. So that eliminates that. We'll dig a little deeper on that part. Possible causes of a random misfire or a specific cylinder misfire. We're going to narrow it down because we want to see if it's just one cylinder being activated through this. So we can start ticking off the boxes. First, crankcase ventilation. So if we've got just one cylinder, which just listening to the engine, you can tell it's just one cylinder missing. We're going to listen to the engine for the mechanical, and we don't hear any kind of abnormal noise other than the misfire. Exhaust leak, same thing. We can get rid of it because we don't hear exhaust leak. Fuel injector, possible. Fuel pressure, no, because it's only happening on one cylinder. Fuel quality, same thing. It's only happening on one cylinder. Spark plug boot. Now let's put fuel quality back on the board, because if you had just recently filled up and say within 10 to 50 miles this condition happened, it still could be bad fuel quality. Now if you'll see that my car is close to empty, I filled it up and it didn't happen until recently, I know it's not fuel quality. But if you have just recently filled your vehicle up, then it could possibly be fuel quality. Now so far we hadn't removed any parts, we've just used our scanner. We've got rid of half our list. Let's move on and see what else we can remove. Now because we don't have a P0171 lean condition or a P0172 rich condition, we should be able to eliminate our vacuum leaks and our injector. Now that cuts us down to 2 possible causes. Now I have found in some cases where the ignition coil could be bad and it not set a code for a problem with the ignition coil, so we're going to add that to our list. Now we've moved to inspection mode, and if you'll notice right here we've got a crack in number 2 spark plug. Also found that it was wet with fuel, so I believe that is to be our culprit. One thing for sure is this plug has got to be replaced, so we're going to start there and replace this plug. Now because I replaced number 2 spark plug, that eliminates the spark plug and the spark plug boot. I didn't find any issues visually checking them, so they're okay. Those 2 will come off our list. Had I not found that cracked plug, this would have been my next phase, and this is what I would do if I was you. is what I do is swap plug 1 and 2 because it's on 2, and if it was on 3 or 4, I'd swap 3 and 4. So what I done is, because I found a cracked plug, I went ahead and replaced that plug, but the results wasn't as positive as I thought they was going to be. I still have a misfire on cylinder 2. So now we're going to have to inspect our coil, since the coil in the ignition module is all encased in this unit. We didn't get a coil code, and since how the other 3 are okay, we know we have power and ground, so we won't have to test that. So that eliminates that part of the test. The only thing that we hadn't checked is our feed from our ECM to our coil to tell the igniter to ignite. We still got a coil issue because we still have a misfire on number 2 cylinder. So with the coil brings a whole new list. Let's see what we got. Not only now do we still have our misfire, but this brings into a question of whether we have compression as well. So we're going to have to add that to our list. And because of the way the engine sounds, I don't think it's a compression issue. So we'll have to add compression, because it takes 3 things for the engine to run. You got to have fuel, you got to have compression, and you've got to have ignition. Any one of these 3 things is going to cause a misfire. So now we've added compression to our list. Let's focus on our ignition coil first. We have positive and ground, and then we have 4 signal wires coming from our ECM, and then 1 signal return wire coming to our ECM from our ignition module. Now, since how we know that we have 3 cylinders that's still doing okay, we know we have power and ground, so we can take that off our list. Now, since we don't have any other ignition coil codes, we know that our signal return is good because there's only 1 wire, and each time that the coil fires, it gets a signal back to the ECM, so it's getting at least 3 signals. But because we're not getting any other codes like an ignition coil code or shorted to ground, we know that the wire, the signal coming to our ignition module from the ECM is good, or we would get either open or a short code on that. So we now have eliminated that as well. Well, that pretty much does it for this video. I'm James Noble. Thank you for watching. If you have yet to replace the ignition control module or didn't really know how, this next video will walk you through that.